Okay, mathematicians. So we're gonna get ready to do another problem this week. And I thought it would be appropriate, just because of something that's happening to my fruit, for us to do a cutie problem. So a lot of you have had these before. They're really tiny, sort of orange-like slices. And sometimes they're called mandarins. And a lot of us know them by cuties just because they're very easy to peel, and that's how they were branded. Now, the reason why I want to do a word problem like this today is because I noticed some of the mandarins or the cuties in my I know, Fernando. Some of the cuties in my bag have been getting, moldy. Do you see that? That's what happens when you don't eat your fruit fast enough. They start getting disgusting. Then you have to throw them out. And I want to make sure that none of the other cuties in the bag get moldy. So we have to start eating more and more. ¿Qué pasó? ¿Qué pasó? Okay, ahorita te atiendo. So, your cuties might have a different amount than mine, but so far what I've seen, when I peeled one of our cuties, and we got these at Costco, I've been able to get an average of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 slices in one cutie. And again, we're going to have to eat these in my family really fast, just because we don't want any more to spoil, like that one right there. I know, honey, I know. So, I'm going to have to figure out how many slices I'm going to eat in total this week. So again, let's think about what the problem is asking us to find out. In this problem, I want to eat some cutie slices for a snack, because again, my family has to finish going through that Costco bag before the rest of them get moldy, like that one cutie I showed you. I don't want any more of them getting that disgusting, so we have to eat them. But however, I am curious to find out how many slices we will end up having for snack. So again, I want to know, depending on the amount of cuties we end up eating, how many slices we will actually eat. So I don't want to know how many cuties I'm eating. I want to know the amount of slices. So in this problem, I peeled a certain amount of cuties. If this were you, mathematicians, think, how many cuties would you end up having for snack? Maybe 2, 3. One time I brought a whole bag of cuties for Valentine's Day for one of my kindergarten classes, just because I thought it would be sweet to give a cutie for my little kindergarten cuties. But at the end of the day, I had some left over, and one of my students actually ended up eating 5. So those were a lot of cutie slices that student ended up having. So think about yourself. How many cuties would you end up eating? Do you have that number in your head? Can you see that amount of cuties? Can you start thinking about how many slices that might generate in your total? That would be probably a lot, depending on how hungry you were. So now let's look at the next part of our problem. Ready? Now the cuties I ended up showing you had an average of about 8 slices. But in this problem, I'm giving you a different set of number choices where the slices vary, and also the amount of cuties in this problem are different as well. So you have to think about what the question's asking, but also the numbers in your number set. So let's look at these 2 parts in particular. I peeled blank cuties. The next part, it says each cutie had a certain number of slices. So when we look at our number set, one of the numbers is going to represent the amount of cuties in the problem, and the other part of the number set is going to represent the amount of slices in each cutie. So let's think about that. If we had, and I'll get a piece of paper just so we can visualize, just so we can see that part a little bit better. If I had, for example, 1 cutie, and inside 1 cutie I had 8 slices, the number set would look like this. 1 cutie and 8 slices. Do you see how the 1 represents the cutie in its entirety and its whole, and the 8 represent each slice? So again, you have to really think about what the numbers mean in the problem, what the problem is also asking you to do, just because the question is going to make you also have to think about what it's asking you to focus on. You ready, mathematicians? Let's look at our question now. Now in this problem, we want to know how many slices can Miss Juarez have for her snack? Can you read that again with me? How many slices can Miss Juarez have for her snack? Can you focus on this word, mathematicians? Slices. Slices. So it's not asking me how many cuties can I have for my snack. It's not asking me for the whole. It's asking me for the little parts inside. How many slices can I have for my snack? Thumbs up if you think you understand what the problem's asking you to do. Okay, so if you are someone who's ready to look at their number sets for this week, you may go on ahead and keep on watching the video. If you think you might need to go back and watch me unpack this problem from the beginning, don't forget to rewind just so you can see me unpack it with the actual cutie and also go over the problem again. Okay, so let's look at our number sets for today. Ready? In the first number set, I had 2 cuties for my snack, and each cutie had 5 slices. In the next problem set, I had peeled 2 cuties, and each cutie had 6 slices. My third number set says I peeled 3 cuties, and each cutie had 5 slices. In my fourth problem set, I peeled 3 cuties, and each cutie had 6 slices. The numbers are very similar, but I'm sure that when you actually do the problem, you'll see that the result, that the total, that what you are looking for in your answer is going to be a little bit different for each set. Now let's look at the next set of numbers you have an option to work with. In this first number set, in the orange problems, I peeled 5 cuties. Can you see those 5 cuties? Can you count out 5 cuties? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And in each cutie, there were 5 slices. And the next number set, I still peeled 5 cuties, but instead of there being 5 slices, there were 6 slices in each cutie. And the seventh number set, there were 10 cuties that I peeled. 10. That's double the amount as the number set right above it. And in this number set, just like in the one right above it, each cutie had 5 slices. In this number set, I peeled 10 cuties, and each cutie had 6 slices. Mathematicians, if you look at these 2 number sets right here, they are very interesting just because of that first number, the 10. I'm making a prediction just by looking at these number sets in particular. In my prediction, mathematicians, is that because all the numbers are the same except that 10, I'm thinking the amount of slices is going to double from these 2 number sets. That's just my prediction though. You're going to have to do the work to find out if my prediction is true, if there's any validity, if there's any truth to my prediction. So let's work together and do the first number set. Ready? Where I peeled 2 cuties and there were 5 slices in each one. So I'm going to write my number set in the corner. I'm going to make a quick annotation to remind me what each number represents. And now I'm going to think about what strategy I can use to represent the problem. Now again, we already drew a picture in our problem that we focused on last week. And I could still do a picture if I need to help me understand the problem. However, from what I saw in the work you turned in for the problem last week about the blueberry muffins, a lot of you are ready to move on from drawing a picture where you are directly modeling and maybe start considering thinking about a more efficient strategy to use when working out your problems. And so I want to use a strategy that might be similar to something that a lot of you are ready for. And I'm thinking I could use a strategy similar to this one, where I'm kind of drawing a representation of what I'm doing, but not directly using a picture, because what I mean is if I were to draw the same one, I might consider doing something like this. Where I still sort of draw something that's like a picture, but instead of using a strategy where I can see every single amount represented, do you see how that 8, I can see the amount represented? I'm gonna use a strategy that's a little bit different, where you don't see the amount represented with a picture, and maybe with a number instead. So watch me, ready? I might do 4 and 4. You see that? How I use numbers in my strategy instead of doing a picture? So I'm thinking I might do that today to do that first problem. Ready? So let's see. I'm still gonna do 2 cuties, and I think I might just do them in a circle. So see, 1, 2, and I'm not going to forget to label. And then I'm going to draw, actually, you know what? 5 is a pretty friendly number for me. So I'm just gonna do 5 in each one. There we go. I think that's pretty good. I can see the amount of cuties represented, but instead of drawing it out with a picture or even with like a mark, like a little tally mark, I could use a number. Just because 5 is a really friendly number for me, it's really easy for me to count by 5s and add by 5s and add a 5 to a number. So I think I'm going to just stick with this strategy for right now. So let's see. I have 2 cuties, and inside of each cutie there were 5 slices. Let me go back to the question and see what it was asking me to do. How many slices can Miss Horace have for her snack? So let's see. There were 5 slices in this one, 5 slices in this one. Oh, I know. 5 and 5 is the same as 10. There we go. Oh, that was pretty simple, mathematicians. And I'm thinking one of the reasons why it was so much easier for me to work out this problem today is because of that 5. 5 is a really friendly number that's very familiar to a lot of us. So it's easy for us to work with that number. So let me see. I have a strategy that shows I understand the problem. I put my number in a circle. And now another thing I need to do before I move on to the next problem set is write out an explanation. So let me see if I can write out something that represents exactly what I did. There we go, mathematicians. I have a strategy that shows I understand the problem. I put my number in a circle, and I have a very detailed explanation where if I were to show just my explanation to another mathematician, I bet that they could represent something similar to what I did just by following the steps in my explanation. So again, if you need to go back and
watch me unpack the problem, go ahead and rewind. If you think you're ready to work on some other number sets independently, go ahead. And I can't wait to work with you again tomorrow. Okay, bye-bye.